Simran Singh here on the Rebel Road in Dublin, Ohio. We are at the Corazon, a beautiful Mediterranean facility that is 66,000 square feet and is filled with fitness, with wellness, with massage, all kinds of things, and just an amazing setting. And I'm really excited to be here because I have a fabulous guest, Dr. Roger Boger, who is the author of the Einstein Complex. On the Rebel Road, one of the primary messages is that we each have a unique genius that we are here to share with the planet. We are each a puzzle piece of this great divine puzzle. And as we each step into that unique genius, we actually allow that oneness to form more and more. An expert that would truly help us to understand that is Dr. Roger Boger, because he has a clue as to how he teaches that in the Einstein Complex. Welcome, Dr. Boger. It's a pleasure.
Well, thanks. You know, I want to say to everyone watching this that this person, this woman, is awesome, because I've kind of done a little due diligence on you before I came here. And to be on this journey that you're on, the timing couldn't be better, because the world needs the message. And the message is just to get back to the fundamentals of connection to source, to love, to understanding each other and caring about each other. And I just salute you for what you're doing. So
well, thank you.
It's my privilege actually to be here with you. So anyway.
I appreciate that. I think we are here to really celebrate one another, and in that connection and communion with one another, it is how we're going to bring back the full recognition of all of who we really all are. Now, I know you've done amazing things in your life. You are a dentist. You expanded that even to a greater aspect of the wellness field, really teaching and speaking to lots of individuals to give them a larger structure of just the science and to energy and other things. You have Bob Proctor as a mentor, and you just allow all of what you know to touch people in many, many different ways, trying to bring together different fields and change paradigms. Talk about being a rebel in that way, bridging science, spirit, technology, mind, to be able to stand and do that. Where does that power come from?
You mentioned it. It comes from our mentors. It comes from our teachers, and and never ceasing to learn. Bob Proctor actually wrote the foreword to my book. Bob and Linda, Karen, and I are great friends, and he was one of my first mentors and has aligned me with other mentors. I know that you've been noted by Jack Canfield. Jack Canfield is one of our mentors. Master Dr. Shah is someone that we are aligned with on our television show on the TELUS Digital Television Network. So now I'm rambling. I forgot what the question was.
Just the source of that power to keep going and be the rebel in your own life that is charging forward, allowing your greatest genius to come.
Well, the source is the mentors, and then you tap into your own infinite source, because our power that is one with the universe, which may resonate with what you're talking about, we are all one with the universe, and that universal intelligence and universal power flows in us and through us and connects us to the energy of the earth, which happens to be magnetic. So understanding and being open in your heart, in your mind, in your gut, in every fiber of your being, to the learning process, to allowing the great masters and teachers around the world to affect changes in us as individuals, and then, like yourself, be on a journey to share that big vision to the world. So, I mean, it's just one continuum, isn't it? I mean, it's a never-ending, cyclical, wonderful journey.
Now, in hearing you speak just a little bit, it's very clear that you also recognize that we have signs and synchronicities that show up, that there's no accidents, and that we are here to connect the dots. As you look back on your life, can you tell me where the significant changes were and where the dots really connected so that you could tap into your own genius and share on the planet the way that you do?
Well, they're still connecting. But the dots started, as a youngster and learning and having two loving parents and a great family, home life, and they were very supportive of the athletics and I did magic as a youngster. Started doing magic shows when I was 12 years old, and in the magic there is illusion, and in the illusion there is reality, all at the same time. They're intertwined, the illusion of reality and the illusion that we call magic is there. And so then, we move forward and continue to pick up the mentors. We experience life's ups and downs. We learn eventually to bless and be grateful for those downs that you and I talked about before we came on camera. I mean, everybody's life has ups and downs, and when you have a down, I just read yesterday, you need to be grateful for the down time because there is a lesson there. And life is a series of lessons, and the lessons never end, right?
Well, in the show for the Rebel Road, I talk about how so many people want to get away from the dark part of their life and get to the light or be the illuminated one. And it's all light, even especially those darkest times, those struggles, points of struggle, because that's where we really discover our strength and our beauty and the different pieces of ourselves that we wanted to reclaim in having this earthly playground to behold. Yes?
My wife Karen is a light worker, and I'm learning from her and association with her friends. Last week we were at a friend's house, and we were in a circle, and we put stones in the circle of life and joined hands and prayed together and became one with all that's good, all that we could attract to be good. And I was speaking with Karen recently, and I said, well, how do you become a light worker? And she said, we're all light workers, just at different levels. So I'm an apprentice light worker, and she's teaching me the value of that, and I feel blessed by that. And I'm not an easy work, so she has her hands full with me because as we used to call it left-brained, but now we both understand that there's a symphony that happens between both hemispheres at the same time. There's no left brain octung and right brain creative. There's a creative genius in every cell in the brain, and the conductor of that orchestra is one with God.
Well, it's interesting that the two of you as a couple illustrate what is to take place within each one of us, and that is the merging of the masculine and the feminine, of the mind and the heart. Talk about being a couple doing this kind of work together, because I think so many people seek that in relationship and yet don't want to lose their individuation either. So talk about being one in the work that you do, but also keeping your own identity so you feel fulfilled as selves.
Well, each of us has our own opinions, and opinions are things that can change. But the key issue for me is communication, which I didn't have in my other life. And so Dr. Kathy Murphy, who you need to meet, she originally was in the Carolinas, but she's traveling all over the country with her husband now, going to different workshops to just be and learn. Dr. Kathy Murphy, PhD. Anyway, she said when I was at Hilton Head at her home with her husband Mike, she said, would you like a glass of red? I said, sure, I'd like a glass of red. She said, now, tell me what you learned the first go around. And after we got around to it, what I learned was that I was guilty of not being a good communicator. And Karen and I have made the pledge to each other that we're always going to communicate, because you never go to bed angry. It's not that we don't have differences of opinion, but we sort them out quickly and get it straightened out and move forward.
Well, and relationship does seem to be that place that really helps us clean and clear and grow, and that must somehow be connected to tapping into our unique genius, because if we can't get the relationships in our life to work, then we don't have the space to really allow ourselves to fully step into that genius. Is there a relation in your mind?
There is a relationship with all of us in the world, and that relationship has got to get the joke about, and I know that there are socioeconomic reasons for war, for example. Like I said, you kind of remind me of Indira Gandhi, because you get it. You understand that the global community of humankind has got to get through it. And it has to be done in the private sector, I think, because the governments aren't going to do it, because they have different agenda. And they're economic, and they're power, and they are things that, it just seems commonsensical that a 5-year-old would understand this. Well, maybe a 7-year-old would understand this. But as we grow older, we lose the vision of this global community of living kind. I call it the global community of Vita kind, because we are connected to the plants. And I talked to I said, I'm talking to the flowers, the hibiscus in our house. And when I talk to those hibisci, they grow, they blossom, they just like, oh, he's talking to me, he's talking to me. And it's, it's true. I mean, there was a study where a person came into a greenhouse, and there were 2 plants, like you and I are brother and sister plants, let's say, because we could be, I mean, depending on your point of view. So, and so somebody comes into the room and they totally destroy the brother plant. And they had an EKG hooked up to the sister plant. And when that was happening, the needles were going off the chart like that. The next day, people came into the greenhouse one at a time. And they had the EKG hooked up to the plant. And the first person that came in and the EKG was just normal. Second person came in and the EKG was just normal. Third person came in, and that was the one who had obliterated the plant. The EKG went like this.
Wow. Yes.
So we cannot separate the living energy that resides in all living things, not only here on this speck of dust spinning through the cosmos, Jacques Cousteau calls planet ocean, but in the whole universe.
Yes.
And I could go on and on about that. So
Well, you said a couple of things I'd like to go back to. And one of them was, about the government and politics, and we see that Marianne Williamson is diving into that arena, and we see other people that seem to be more conscious, wanting to effect change in that way. What do you think about how people need to respond, or how quickly those kinds of changes can take place in our world right now?
I think, as Gladwell said in one of his older books, Tipping Point, that we are at that place. And if we're aware that we are at that place, and that's what you're doing, you're making people more aware. Certainly, she made Nelson Mandela aware, because his speech that everyone thinks was Nelson Mandela was really Marianne's words. Who are you to not think that you're beautiful? You're a child of God and all that. So I think that I'm rambling again. I forgot where we were. I got off on Marianne Williamson and Nelson, and then all the politics.
Yes.
Well, 2 things you never talk about, right? Religion and politics. However, just on the perimeter of the political scene, I hold, to the best of my ability, the politicians in the light, and hope and pray that they will come together to the extent that they are able, because there's so many interest groups that are pushing and prodding them and pulling them along. Yes. and not allowing them to be. I voted for Kennedy hoping that he would be an agent of change. I was hoping Obama would be an agent of change. But he's become victimized, like many presidents, by the unwillingness politically to change. I'll say this once. I think in Washington they ought to take them, they ought to fire them all and bring in some people that really want to make a change, not just have a position of power.
You're also doing some things. I think it's good that it was said. I mean, I think that we have to see that, and we have to also realize, and I talk about this in Conversations with the Universe, my book that released, that they're simply mirroring what we're each doing. And if we will realize that, to assist these changes of the types of people that we want in there, so that we make the changes, then they're going to happen. But until we each also own where we do these same things, or where we're putting these people in office because there's some resonance that we seem to have with them, then nothing really is going to change.
I like what you said in your interview on TED Talks about I am the anger in you. I mean, your anger is something like that.
Yes.
I am.
Where is that in me?
Yeah, where is that in me?
Yes.
Right. And so I don't know how we get that message across to those people who our decision makers, but I'm hoping that before I go wherever we go, that that's something that we can maybe make a little change in that area.
Yes, and you are making changes with some of the things that you're doing. You have a group in the area that you come together with, and you are launching a new type of paradigm because you're visioning together. You're trying to create something that's a collective rather than the individual I. Talk about the types of people that are really coming into that. Is it a huge group of people? Is it a small capsule of people? And if it's a small capsule, is that enough to start that paradigm shift?
Well, in John Chaffee's book, The Thinker's Way, it's a great book. He first talks about being a critical thinker. First, you have to be a critical thinker. If you and I are here discussing things, and you say one thing, I'm saying, well, is that your opinion? Or is what you're saying based on some fact? Or some facts that you've been able, and what's the viability of the facts? And then after we become critical thinkers, we become innovative thinkers and be creative. And so the new Renaissance group that Karen and I started at our home, and now we'll be having it here next year at Coruscant, is about innovative thought processes, people coming together and imagineering something that's for the good of all. And it could be business. In several instances has. We've put together multi-million-dollar deals because the collective consciousness and imaginations of the people that are in the group have come together and created this new entity. So the spin-off of that is that next May we're having the BioGenius Summit in Columbus. And we'll have Greg Braden there and Reverend Michael Beckwith. And I'm hoping to be able to talk you into coming there to speak, because we have doctors from all over the world who only have 18 minutes. Talk about TED, work about TED. They only have 18 minutes to share that one thing that, in their opinion, if people became aware of it, they'd live a longer, healthier life. Like Dr. Roger Garcia who wrote the book Age to Perfection, will be talking about inflammaging. That the inflammatory process accelerates the aging process. So if it's white, don't bite. It's the sugar that causes the inflammation. That's underlying etiologically to heart disease, cancer, and stroke. If you're inflamed, you're going to get it. It's not the cholesterol. Cholesterol just goes to patch over the inflammation in the stratum intima, which is the lining of the coronary arteries. If you're not inflamed from a high sugar diet, etc., the cholesterol could be 600 and it just passes right down the Great White Way. It doesn't matter. So he'll be there. Dr. Ted Emanuel from Jamaica will be talking about a naturopathic way, homeopathy. We have Dr. Paul Long from Hilton Head, who wrote the book Secrets to a Long Life. Angela Carr Patterson, Take the Vow to Love. So one of them about relationships you mentioned earlier, Cheryl Bassett, who has garnered the honor of one of the top 5 ideas for humanity, called Kitchen Table Conversations. It's about communicating with your family, no cell phones allowed. Actually, you have to sit down and talk, make eye contact, and do it. So the BioGenius Summit is sort of a spin-off of our life's purpose, which is to make people more aware of what it takes to live a longer, healthier life. And that's a spin-off of a Japanese fellow that I met several decades ago named Isamu Masuda from Fukuoka, Japan. In Oita Prefecture is the southernmost island of Japan. Beautiful,
beautiful. I think it's when we create things that enliven us, these ideas, these wonderful ideas, that's when that unique genius really, really shines. And I tell people that we are experiencing itself. So in creating these types of things, like this BioGenius Summit, what is the experience trying to experience itself through you?
Well, are you the experience or the experiencer? And you and I could have a talk about that, couldn't we? Because I think I already know you. It doesn't take long to watch you to see how transparent your intellect is and your love is and your spirituality. You're awesome. Anyway, so the experience is the knowing, is in the knowing and awareness. And it'll be a very, very well done. There's going to be holograms in the back that aliens come in and out. Oh, it's really awesome. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be live video screen to video broadcast all over the world. to every device, no apps required.
Mm.
They're going to be very cool. There's going to be millions of people that watch this. Anyway, so I think the experience is in the knowing and the knowledge that comes from heightened awareness. I don't know if that makes sense. That's what I'm being told.
That's beautiful. That's wonderful. So we are here with Dr. Roger Boger, and it is The Einstein Complex. It's his book that you want to go out and get. You want to definitely tap into him. You can see the link below to get to his website and the information so that you stay tuned for this BioGenius Summit. And you have another book that you're working on that will be out in several months. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
It's called The Blueprint for Millions. I'll be co-authoring it with Sir Alan Mooney, who is the #1 wealth creator in the country. He's truly an economic genius, understands the ebb and flow of what may be happening if we reset global currencies, which could be right around the corner. And you got to know what you're doing.
Yes.
We, over the years that we've known each other, we've discussed and arrived at the place where many of our thoughts about things are the same, even though we're in different industries, so to speak. Some of the same leadership issues, some of the same integrity issues have to be present in order to be successful. And so Blueprint for Millions is a blueprint for millions of people. And also, if you're inclined to want to be economically successful, it's a blueprint for millions of dollars. Although it may be millions of dinars or millions of Vietnamese dong, it may be, I don't know what it's going to be, millions of something.
Wonderful. So you can definitely tap into Dr. Roger Boger and his work and understand that this is a conversation with the universe happening in front of you right now. Where is that in you? Where is the motivator? Where is the speaker? Where is the unique genius that is residing inside of you? Where is the individual that is ready to leap out and be the rebel and create summits or create the bringing together of peoples? Where is the person that is willing to bridge the mind and the heart, willing to bring together the masculine and the feminine? Many points were covered in this conversation, and each of one of those lies within you. Where is that in you? Are you willing to discover it? And what is it here to bring out within you? What dormant traits and qualities are you to discover about yourself simply by listening and watching the conversations with the universe? On the Rebel Road, in VitaFitnessCorazon.com, beautiful facility in Dublin, Ohio. I'm Simran Singh, in love, of love, with love and as love. Until next time, be well.